Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of CLX Foundry Live. It's me, Paul Steffens, and our builder, Zach Killingsworth.
Yeah!
We are down DJ today.
Aww.
DJ is out sick. Wah, wah. Yeah. So it'll just be us two today. We will miss DJ. We hope he's doing all right. Hope
We
he's getting
mailed
over
him some
whatever
ibuprofen.
Yeah, that's right. FedEx overnight. They did overnight delivery. So what's up, guys? We've got Kaiser, Female Gamer, Cosworth, PokeFan. Hello everybody. Thanks for being here. So what we've got today is a custom configured RAW off our website. So you can obviously see the big NV7 here. This is going to be our case. For our processor, we've got a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. To cool that, we've got a Fantex Glacier 1 360 AIO. For our motherboard, we've got Asus Strix X670E-A gaming Wi-Fi. And for our memory, we have two sticks of Patriot Viper. It's 32 gigabyte a stick. It's DDR5 5600 speed in RGB, so a total of 64 gigs. For our storage options, we've got a 2 terabyte Samsung 990 Pro NVMe drive. That'll be our main drive where we load our operating system. And then for a secondary storage drive, we've got a 6 terabyte Western Digital Blue hard disk drive. For our video card, we've got an RTX 4090 from P&Y, so top of the line for a video card. And for our case fans, we've got 12 of our Game DS Aeolus 120mm M2 fans in white. For our power supply, we've got a Thermaltake 1050 watt, 80 plus gold, fully modular from Thermaltake. So with all that being said, we'll start getting these panels off and get started. So how's everybody doing today?
Oh yeah.
Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. I just pried on it like it was just gonna come off.
You just rip the threads out.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Trevor, on Facebook?
Yeah.
There we go. Crazy Pokemon fan. This is your first time watching someone build a PC, so you guess you're learning new things today. Well, that's great. We're happy to have you here. We show pretty much how we build everything here. So we kind of do an in-depth thing. If there's anything you got questions on, please ask. We've both been doing this for many years, so we should be able to answer all your questions. Your B-Day is in 4 more days, Kaiser. Nice, nice. Happy early birthday. I bet if you come back on Thursday, DJ will sing you happy birthday.
DJ sings it. Now that DJ's gone, we can just say that DJ does all of these things so
we
that
can
when
commit
he
him to all
comes,
the
yes,
stuff.
we
Yeah.
can commit him to everything.
There we go. Yeah, so if you guys do exclamation mark giveaway, you'll see our giveaway for this month. If you guys were here last stream, you saw us put it together. There might be codes through the stream. I'm sure there will be over on the green side. So much to get off on this case. There's a lot of little panels and stuff that you see us taking off and doing all this prep work. It'll make our lives a lot easier when we're going. So, what's up, Sasko? How you doing? Yeah, the Sakura PC, that is the giveaway, yeah. So we do codes on every one of our streams, and then DJ also will have some codes on his stream over at DJ Blue PDX, so make sure you go drop him a follow and check him out when he'll be live next. All right, so getting into our motherboard, like I said before, this is the Asus ROG Strix X670E-Gaming A Wi-Fi. So we're getting all the plastic and stuff off of this. There's a lot of plastic and stuff on this. This is a higher end board, so we make sure we get all this stuff off. Anything that stands out to you on this motherboard, Zach?
All of the M.2s. We've got 2 on the bottom, 1 here, and 1 here. So we can store 4 NVMEs on this board, which is pretty excessive.
That is a lot.
You could have a dedicated operating system drive and then 3 dedicated Steam drives.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have, we've had streamers on the show before. We've done some collabs with them. Last month we did one with J-Wong that was really cool. We had him on while we were building the PC. That was really cool. J-Wong's like a legendary gamer in the fighting game community. So I'm gonna start getting some of these cables out. So what Zach's removing right now is these clips come built in on the back plate of AMD boards. You can see we've got the screws out and those will just come off. And we're removing those so we can attach the hardware for our AIO. So an AIO is an all-in-one liquid cooler. Now that means it comes straight out the box like this. All of our coolant is already inside there. It's going to come with a few different sets of hardware. So you just grab the one that matches your chipset for your motherboard and install it this way. These are great at cooling and super easy to install. It can be kind of intimidating if you haven't done it before, but you can see what Zach's doing right here. I mean, you just pull those clips off and put the hardware in, and this thing will go in just a few minutes.
What's the difference between a Z690 and a Z790?
Good question. So that is referring to the chipset of a motherboard. The new Z790, both of those are Intel chipsets. Z790 is the new chipset. So it's just a more up-to-date version of the board, and that's what that is. So there'll be an 890 and a 990 most likely after that. All right, so we're going to drop in our processor. This is an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D. This is an 8-core, 16-thread processor. It's got a base speed of 4.2, and it will boost up to 5.0. Really solid gaming processor here. That 3D is AMD's somewhat new 3D technology for storing their cache. They actually have stored it on top of the CPU die, which is pretty game-changing and pretty cool to see them do that. We got some questions coming in over TikTok. Arctic, Antic, and Marty. You've got a 9900K GTX 1070 Supreme Z370A and 16 gigabytes of Trident Z G-Skill RAM. What would we recommend upgrading one at a time? So you've got a really good PC there. That's all high-end hardware that is getting a little older. That processor is going to last you. It's got many more years left of life in it, and you've got plenty of RAM. So I would say go with the video card there if you're just going to upgrade something. That 1070 is still a solid card, but that would be the first thing I would upgrade in that build. How do the chipsets differ? So basically, how it used to work back in the day is a new chipset would come out and that CPU socket on there would match the current sockets. But as time's gone on, some of the sockets are compatible with the previous gen. So like Z690, Z790 can have 12th gen, and the Z790 can have 12th and 13th gen on them. So that's kind of what it goes. That's kind of what it's talking about there. You want to look at so like this processor, this is an AM5, so you want to make sure you have an AM5 chipset board. You can see we've got our AIO on there now. I mean, I didn't even see you put those thumb screws on there. That's how quick these things can go in. And these AIOs are going to have a fan header cable. That's what Zach's handling right now. Typically, it's a traditional 4-pin that you plug into the CPU pump header on the motherboard. Sometimes if there's RGB built in, it will have an RGB cable as well. Now this cooler does have a cap that we will put on it, and that's RGB, and that RGB cable will be coming off that cap. Oh, you meant the strimmer cables. Yes, we have done builds with those. I mean, it's only been a handful, but we've definitely done those. what is the best GPU for a i5-10400F? So that's a pretty much a mid-tier processor, kind of lower on the mid-tier scale, but definitely a mid-tier processor. I would go with like a 4060 or something like that. That would pair well with it nicely. Into memory. I haven't even grabbed all my parts. I'm busy doing all the talking. All right, so in goes our memory. You can see we've got 2 sticks of Patriot Viper. It's probably been, I don't know, maybe a month or so since we've used Patriot Viper memory. This is really solid memory. Patriot has a lot of different models. This is DDR5, 5600 speed, and each one of those sticks is 32 gigs. So we got a total of 64 gigs in the system. You can see Zach's gonna put them in RAM slot 2 and 4, if you're counting it from left to right. Typically, when you have 2 sticks of memory on a 4-slot board, you're always gonna use slot 2 and 4. If you're ever unsure, just consult your motherboard manual. If you don't have the paper version, you can just go to your motherboard manufacturer's website and they'll have all that documentation on there. You missed the socket 775 that lasted up to DDR3. Yeah, that's some old Intel stuff. We found like a really big, what was it, like a Zalman cooler that you had? Yeah, it's a really big super copper thing. I think it was like 775 and 1366 compatible. Was that the socket? Can't remember. That stuff's getting pretty old. All right, so now we're getting into our M.2. So you can see Zach's pulled the heat shield off, and we've got these thermal pads on there. That's what this is right here. It's kind of a sticky thing. And then on the back of the heat shield for the M.2, it's also got a thermal pad. This is essentially acting as thermal paste, although it's a lot less messy. It's just kind of like a pad. It's almost kind of like Play-Doh texture, and so we'll just install this in there and put that on top. And then these heat sinks are not necessary for an M.2, but it is nice to have. Just keeps your M.2s a little bit cooler, makes them last a little bit longer, perform better. And we always put our main drive at the highest M.2 slot. That's why you see us use it right there under the CPU. And then all these extra slots are obviously for extra drives. Typically that top slot is the priority as far as like boot goes. So that's why we put it up there, but it would work in the other slots. So we're just gonna get better performance with it being up top.
And some fans.
Put our fans. All right, going over here to TikTok. So, yeah, no problem, Mantech and Marty. Yeah, don't let people get you down on your build. It's still a solid build, just because it's, I mean, I'm still rocking 11th gen Intel and a RTX 2080 Super in mine. It's performing great, so ain't nothing wrong there. You've got, Goldor has a mini PC. Do some jank stuff to put a GPU or just get a new PC? I'm assuming you mean some jank stuff. I'm all down for the jank stuff. Yeah. If you want to get your grinder out and customize your case a little bit so you can put a big old GPU in there, do it. What GPU would we recommend from the 1070? So a good solid bang for your buck card is going to be a 4060 or a 4060 Ti. If you've got more room in your budget than that, you know, you can always go 4070 or higher, but that's a good baseline to start with. And then if you've got the money and you want to get a little bit better card, you can go up from there. How many builds will be on stream today? Well, we have this one for our main show and then our after show where Zach is up here solo building. I believe we've got one build for you after that. So 2 builds in total on the show today. What's up, Hashim? How you doing? DJ's out sick today. What power supply would you need for a 4060? So the 4060 doesn't need a lot of power. If you've got that i5-10400F and your 4060, I mean, you can get away with a 750 watt for sure and still have some headroom. So we're getting our fans on our radiator right there. Actually, Zach just finished up. It's obviously a 360 radiator, so that refers to the size. Typically, the length of the radiator can fit 3 120 millimeter fans, hence the 360. So we've got those on there, and we're about ready to put it inside the case. So I'll get the case up here, and we'll drop this motherboard. All right, so this is obviously an NV7. This is a really large case, actually, so we've got a lot of room. We'll get this straightened out here for y'all, and we can go ahead and drop it in. Hey, what's up, G-Code? How you doing? So to match this white case, we're going to be using silver hardware. It's kind of a nice finishing touch that we see come with a lot of the white cases. And then we've got another fan tray here. I'll get some fans laid out. It's always hard for me to put this in. Just right in my head, it's this way. So these 4 fans that are going to go on this are going to be intake fans. So we're going to be putting them in this orientation. If you're ever curious which way air is blowing in through your fan, you want to look at this fan grill right here. This is 99% of the time air is going to be coming out of the fan this way, so you know it's going to be coming in the other way. Back in the day, they used to print arrows on the sides of fans. Some fan manufacturers still do that, but it's a little bit more uncommon nowadays. Hey, thanks, Hashim. Yeah, I got that fresh fade. What, last Friday, I think? It always feels good. I always let it go for too long. I guess I can't say that with you, Zach. You let it go for what, 3 years?
3 years.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab some fan screws here.
So good.
Hey, Scotty on TikTok. Y'all did my PC. Awesome, man.
Heck yeah.
Hope you're enjoying it.
Post that on Discord.
Yeah, you can join our Discord, Discord/clxgaming. We'd love to see all your pictures of y'all's PCs in there. You might even catch a code in there for the giveaway. Busting out the power tools now. Kaiser likes the white theme. Yeah, the white builds always look great. And this motherboard's got really good aesthetics for it as well. Obviously going with the white AIO and white fans. Just add a nice touch to it. Hey Splash Prince, how you doing? With an AMD Ryzen 7 8700G paired with an RTX 4060 Ti 16 gig bottleneck. So I don't think you would be bottlenecking there, but you could definitely go with a little bit higher end video card. But I don't think it'll necessarily be bottlenecking. But maybe in the future, you know, as the years go by and you're ready to upgrade, I would say you could upgrade your video card.
12. Okay.
Ooh, Ivory just dropped our first code over there on Kick, so make sure you get that.
That's all there. These guys I need for that. My favorite, white on white on white. White fans, white radiator, white power supply, white case, white motherboard.
Makes the RGB reflect really well. Looks really solid once you get it all together.
I think this with like the black board and all of the white parts and then the black graphics card will look really nice inside.
Yeah, I think so too. E3 Lemon, you got an i9 14900KF with a 4060, so I'm assuming I'm bottlenecked. I mean, the 4060 performs really great, but yeah, your processor is a lot more higher end than your video card, so I wouldn't say you're quite at the point of bottlenecking, but you might be in the future. But it's a good place to start. You know, you don't need to buy a new video card anytime, or a new processor anytime soon, so that's nice.
Hey, Cosworth, are you talking about like a 240 radiator? Because if you have like good example with us installing a 360 radiator, we'll be mounting that on the roof of this system. If we have a graphics card, how would you mount an all-in-one GPU radiator in this case? If it is a 240 liquid cooler, then that's what the back spot is, just superb. You've got a dual mount right here for exhaust, and so you can have your CPU radiator mounted on the roof and your GPU radiator mounted on the back. That would be pretty good cooling for, yes. Yeah, that would be optimum setup for that.
Yeah, this would be a good case for that too, with the 2 fans in the back. That's another thing that's pretty unique about this case. Is the first case that I've seen where you actually have 2 120 millimeter exhaust fans in the back. Most cases just have the one. All right, going back over here to TikTok. How are the CLX pre-built? I've never heard of you guys, but see good ones on Best Buy. Yeah, so we do pre-builds on a bunch of the different big box stores, Best Buy, Walmart, Newegg, all those good ones. Amazon, yep. And those get treated just like a custom build here. They all get built by hand. And we actually I did a build on the show, probably it's been a few months now, where it was just one of our RTS systems, which stands for ready to ship. And just to kind of show how those get treated, and everything really gets done the same. Everything gets hand built, and yeah. Have the same testing processes for everything. So now that we've got our intake fans in, you can see that whole tray goes in there. We put that tray in first because it can bump into your radiator if it's up top. So it's just a little bit easier to get these fans in and then go to the radiator. Hey, thank you, Wiz. Appreciate it. How many platforms we're streaming on? Well, we're streaming on a ton, so 5 right now.
MySpace, Zanga.
Oh yeah.
What are some other classic ones? Justin TV and
yeah. Right, old Zanga's probably still got that emo music playing whenever you come, and like the snow going through the screen. If you need a PC fix, do you guys do that as well? Well, if it's a PC from us, then obviously, yeah, we will take care of it. But if it's an outside PC, typically that's not something we do. However, you could always reach out to our support team, and they could give you a more solid answer than I could. Are bottleneck calculators legit or fraud? It would depend on the calculator, but I don't think there would be a fraud. I don't think there'd be much point in that, but maybe. Roger says, waiting on PC to get back. It's being fixed. How long does it usually take to fix one? So it all depends on how many systems are in, and then the troubleshooting process can be anywhere, from a few days to a week. So it just kind of depends on what issue you're having. If you need to update our support, we'll gladly, give you an update, tell you exactly what's going on. They communicate with the RMA department. They're like brother and sister as far as department goes. So. When you entered it in the bottleneck calculator, you were at 20% bottleneck? Okay. What are easy ways to sell PC parts or PCs you don't want? Have a garage sale. Now, Facebook Marketplace, I know a lot of people use that stuff. It's kind of hard to get rid of older PC hardware. I've got just a closet full of stuff that I just hold on to because the stuff drops in value so much, after it's been like 5 years or something. Kind of feels bad to do, but if you just need to get rid of it and get some cash, that's a good place to do it. I think Craigslist is kind of just dead, but it's definitely a thing there.
It would help to post, if you post stuff showing it working, you will sell it a lot faster.
That's true. Never dimed. How you doing? Can you put a UPS, an uninterrupted power supply, in such a computer case? So typically that is not something you would do, as I'm sure you know. Your uninterruptible power supply or UPS, that is something that gets plugged into your wall. It's basically a surge protector with a big battery all in one thing. And what that does is allow you, if you lose power, it allows your PC to run off that battery for a very small amount of time, so you can save whatever you're doing and then shut off your PC. Now in a case this big, if you had a small UPS, you could probably put it in there, but I don't know. I wouldn't suggest that. Hello, Bolts. How you doing? back over here on TikTok, Antec and Marty, any specific 4060 or 4060 Ti you would recommend? So really, they're all going to perform around the same. Now, the different brands will have slightly different clock speeds across the different models. So if you're looking for just absolute best performance, you know, pick one with the highest clock speed. That being said, they're all going to perform relatively the same. So I would suggest getting one that matches your build. So if you've got like a blue theme going on, you see one with blue fans or something like that, go with that. I'm not too partial to brands as long as it's a well-known brand. I think the Asus Dual has a really cool looking one that we did for the giveaway build. It's kind of got like some see-through plastic on the heat shroud that I think looks really nice. Is it just you two that have to build all the PCs, or is there a department? So we do have other builders in the company that do a lot of the building as well. It's not just us two. That'd be kind of crazy though, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Just us two in here slinging computers out all day. Paul and Zach, do you guys use java.gg? I don't think so. I'm not familiar with it. The only thing I can think of with Java is when you're trying to play like Flash games on a web browser, which I haven't done in, you know, 15 years, yeah. So right now, Zach's getting his case cables all tied up and managed. They're pretty much all plugged in, right, Zach? Everything's plugged in and all routed. So you can see, you know, the beginnings of our cable management going on here. These are obviously for our USB and audio ports on our front panel. And then we've got some RGB cables that we'll use later on in the build for other RGB components. So this is usually how we like to start with cable management. Cable management can be kind of the most intimidating part if you've ever built a PC before and you get all these cables hanging out. It can be kind of a nightmare to run. So we like to break it down into a few different steps. So like I just mentioned here, we got all of our case cables. These are all bundled nicely and ready for us to use. And then typically the next cables we'll do will be the fan cables. So you can see we've got those still hanging out up top. Once we get all of our fans in, these will get plugged into a fan, and then we'll manage those. And then at the end, when we get the power supply in, that's when we will manage all those cables. So typically 3 different sections for cable management.
Anybody gonna be in Vegas for Level Up next weekend?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's already next week.
I know.
It's coming up fast. So if anybody's gonna be in Vegas next week and you wanna come out to Level Up Con, do it. Come see us. All of us will be there. You guys can see the elusive Jason. Come say hi to me and Zach and DJ. Who knows, we might have a code or something for you. I'm pretty excited. I've been to Vegas quite a few times, but it's been over 5 years since I've been. So you go see the Sphere and do all that stuff.
I've never been, so I'm excited to go.
All right. First, yeah. It'll be a good time.
I'm excited. I want to go see the dam because I like dams.
Oh, I always forget
Dams
that's
are
right
so
there.
cool.
Yeah. Is it the Hoover Dam?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Always like, this sounds really stupid, but I always mix up like the Hoover Dam and Niagara Falls, so I just think the Hoover Dam's way up north.
Yeah, that would be just right at the bottom of the falls is the dam.
Yeah.
And like, ha, where you think you're going? Water? Nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, you're in the UK? Okay, well.
According to a movie that I saw, the Hoover Dam is where all of the Autobots live.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could go see Optimus Prime and Bumblebee.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The Allspark.
Allspark. Get your CLX shirt signed and hung up in your game room. Yeah, if you guys come out and want your stuff, we can do that. It's been kind of fun. We had Derek who bought a few PCs from us, and we got those all signed. Those look really cool. He posted them in Discord if you want to check those out. Wendy's is in chat. Is this pre-recorded? No, it's not. This is live, coming to you live. Is the ROG Strix OC 4090 the best 4090 you can get, or is there another one that's as good? So kind of similar question to what we were talking about with the 4060s. Now, the 4090s are higher end, and that ROG Strix has a lot more aesthetics on it that look really cool, so that's why it usually comes at a premium. They also have a white version. Anytime you get a white version of a component, that's usually going to come with a premium as well. But as far as performance in games goes, all 4090s will typically perform about the same. Now, like I mentioned, different manufacturers do overclock them from the factory. That's why you see a lot of like OC on a video card model. That's what that means. So if you're looking for just best performance, you know, you're going to want something that's big with a lot of fans and has a high clock speed. Why don't you guys use SSD instead of a HDD? So that is actually the main drive on this system is an SSD. It is the Samsung 2TB 990 Pro that we installed earlier in the show when we were building the motherboard. It's under that top M.2 slot right there. And then this customer ordered a secondary drive, so that's why we have a 6TB hard disk drive. Now, hard disk drives are kind of a thing of the past. I mean, you definitely don't want this to be your boot drive just because it will boot really slow, but it is a great option that's really economical to get a lot of storage if you've got a lot of, you know, video games or videos and stuff like that, and you don't want to break the bank.
If your iTunes account is super big still,
oh yeah,
I've not heard of people using iTunes for a long time. So.
Yeah, I haven't either. I didn't even know that like Apple had like their own podcast stuff. My sister sent me this podcast. She wanted me to listen to it. I was like trying to find it on Spotify. I was like, "What? Where is this?" Like, it's. And she sent me the Apple thing.
Exclusive.
I was like, "Oh, I've never listened to a podcast." I had to re-download the app on my iPhone. It like comes on.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is a modular power supply.
Yep, we do have a modular power supply, which we got out of the box, so might as well talk about that now while we have a chance. So this is a Thermaltake Tough Power GF A3 Snow 1050 watt power supply. Now, we haven't used these too much on the show before, but this is a really solid power supply. It's an 80 plus gold, 1050 watt fully modular. So what that means is none of the cables are pre-soldered in. You can see all these ports right here. This is where our power cables for the build are gonna go. They come separate in the bag. I've got them right here. And so later on in the show, I will separate these out. We'll pick out what we need, plug them into the power supply, and Zach will do the rest. And then all the extra cables will go in the accessory bag. And that way, if this customer or ever upgrades or needs another power cable, they can just plug one in and go from there. So these modular power supplies are great to work with. If there's room in your budget, we always recommend going with one. It'll just make your life easier when you're plugging everything in. So you can see like Zach's got the power supply installed up here, and we don't even have any of the cables plugged in. So that's one of the things that's really nice about using a modular power supply. What motherboard and CPU is used? So our motherboard is an Asus ROG Strix X670-E, X670E-A gaming Wi-Fi, and then our processor is a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. Yeah, no problem, no problem. All right, so while that's getting, or actually, do you need these cables soon, Zach? I can start getting these ready. 24 pin
CPUs.
Okay.
And we'll need 1, 2, 3, 4.
This does have the
5
special
SATAs.
cables. 5 SATAs, okay.
In total.
So this 24 pin, this is your biggest cable that's going to come with your power supply. This is what is the main power to the motherboard. So that's what that is. We'll get that out, and then I'll get to the CPU cables next, and then we'll move on to our SATAs. Now, I like these cables because they are labeled. Now some modular power supply makers do not have the ends of their cables labeled on both sides. So these say CPU, which is great because they're kind of easy to mix up with the other 6+2 8-pin connectors as well. Don't need any Molex for this build.
Hope not.
That's a shocker.
Haha. I see what you did there.
I didn't even mean for that. That's great. One, two, three, four. Hey, what's going on, Joey? How you doing? Joey Wheels in the chat. Oh, look at that. Nicole dropped another code for you guys over on Kick.
She's
Make
so
sure you go
nice.
check that out. Nope, we are definitely not pre-recording.
That's good.
Yeah. That was Wendy's in the chat. I wonder if it's the actual Wendy's.
Because they're trying to figure out if we're live, and then they'll come over and they'll bring us some spicy chicken nuggets.
I'll take that. Baconator. Good go.
I was talking about that the other day. Aaron's brother likes watching cooking shows, and we were talking about how Bridget and I like always eat chicken and rice.
Yeah.
I want a cooking show that is literally just a chicken and rice cooking show, and it's how many different ways. How many ways can you make chicken and rice taste yummy? The correct answer is all of the ways. All of the ways. All of the Asian ways, the Hispanic ways, the Cajun Louisiana ways.
We do a lot of like Asian chicken and rice at the house, and then I'm a pretty big fan of curry. My wife not so much, but yeah, if you can get like a curry rice in there, even just make it the whole thing in one big pot. Oh, it's so good. Zach Paul, should I share the codes here? Only if you guys say, yeah, it's fine if you want to do that, for sure. I ain't mad at you.
That will let me know what the codes are for later for when people ask. So I'm not very good at remembering.
It's a hard sequence of numbers / letters to remember sometimes. All right, I guess next, while Zach's getting those cables all managed, I'm gonna go ahead and get our 4090 out. Now this is an RTX 4090 from PNY. If you've watched the show before, I'm sure you've seen this on here. Really solid card here. It's gonna pop in this build with the black fans and backplate. So, got our nice little accessory box here, and the big boy video card. Put that in there, put that in there. So like I said, this is a PNY RTX 4090. This does have 24 gigs of VRAM on it, which is a
That's the most.
Yeah,
right now.
I think it's like more gigs than I have in my system total, so pretty awesome. Really solid looking card here. Triple fan model, so it's gonna cool great. We've got 3 display ports and 1 HDMI for our outputs, which is pretty standard. We're seeing a lot more display ports than HDMI now, which is a good thing. DisplayPort is the better connection. And then it's got our special connector here, which this power supply does come with the cable to use, so we don't have to use the dongle that comes with the card. Obviously the PNY logo is going to light up in RGB, and yeah, just really super sleek backplate. You can see it's cut out here. That's so the heat will flow from the heat pipes through through the card, through the fins, and then the fans will obviously take that heat away. Now this card is pretty large, so we are going to be using an anti-sag bracket on this build. This case does come with one that's pretty solid, but there's a bunch of different options out there. If you've got a big card and you're building a PC and you want to avoid the GPU sag, just make sure you get one that screws into the actual chassis itself. So there's a few that will go through the motherboard mounting holes, and those are ones we recommend. Two by 32 or 4 by 16. So it's really up to your choice there. I typically would go with 2 by 32 just to leave me some open slots for upgrading in the future. Now on paper, that 4 by 16 is going to perform a little bit better than that 2 by 32. However, I don't think you really see that as far as frame rate in games. So I like to leave some open slots if I can. Okay. So we've got our hard disk drive already in there. This case has a really nice door here where you can see we can put that drive, and we've even got 2 more options if we had any 2.5-inch drives. So this case has a lot of little doors and stuff. Our 24-pin cables behind here, and there's some posts that go in. So it's pretty cool though to have this here, and then it tucks it all away and looks really nice from both sides. Wish you had a 4090. My 3070 Ti will max out constantly in 1080p and turns into a jet engine. I hate it. That 3070 Ti, what game are you playing that it's causing it to do that? Because your 3070 Ti should be able to play pretty much everything at 1080p very easily. Wonderlands? Okay. Is that for the liquid cooler, Zach? Is that the plate right there?
Yes, this
nice,
is
okay.
that little.
Saw it. So we got our liquid cooler cap on there right now, like we had talked about. Yep, right there. And like I mentioned when we were building the board, this is the RGB cable from that right there that will give it RGB. Now this case does have a really nice block right here for all of our RGB connections, so you can do a whole lot with RGB on this. I mean, these fans that we used have already had a ton of function on them just with the remote, but when using it with this case, it has even more options as far as like you can run like 2 different colors on the same fan at a time and make them do all sorts of different animations and stuff. Sasko, you can't wait for someone to win with the +1s? Yeah, that'd be pretty sick. Wouldn't be surprised if anything, I'll get a 5080 when that drops later this year. There you go. That Corsair Dominator, yeah, that's a well-known brand and model right there. What did you guys do for lunch today? I brought my lunch. I had a double bologna sandwich. Nice. You know, put 2 of the thick slices on there and a packet of ramen. So what did you have, Zach?
I had a kombucha and a couple of Gardettos, and that's about it.
Oh, Gardettos.
Yeah, I didn't eat.
Yeah.
I'm on my beach diet.
There we go.
I'm traveling, so I need to have my my travel diet all set up. So
gotta look good in Vegas.
Yes, have to look good.
Well, you're doing other stuff too next month.
I know. I'm really excited.
Zach's got a big day coming up.
Okay, here we go. And
so these are our fan hubs. Now these are the GameDS ones for our GameDS fans. Now on each one of these fans you can do 8 fans, or each one of these fan hubs, sorry, you can do 8 fans. We obviously have 12 fans in this build, so we're going to be able to use 2 of these controllers. There is a cable that comes with these that you can daisy chain these together. That way they all function the same off both controllers. So how we fill these up is you fill up the first one, so that's what Zach's doing right there. He's getting his 8 fans plugged in, and the remaining 4 will be plugged into this box. Now they will each have their own SATA power that we'll plug in a little later. And this is going to allow us to control all the fans with a remote, but then there's also buttons on this case that will work as well. Hashim asks, what's the big day, Zach?
Getting married.
Oh yeah.
I'm taken.
Putting a ring on it.
I wanted to take myself off of the market, so I figured I'd better do that.
Travel diet is no excuse not to eat, sir. That's bad for you unless you're fasting.
Yeah.
That's from Action Hank. Just makes me think of a superhero, Hank Hill. Now the fan cable part of the build is typically the part that takes the longest as far as cable management goes, because most fans have a single wire coming out of them, some have two. So you can see with 12 fans we've got 12 wires to manage here. Now Zach's got the first fan hub filled up with the 8 fans and now going to the second one here. So you can see kind of how this all looks before we get it all ready. It can be kind of a rat's nest, so definitely want to take your time if you're doing this. Make sure you tie it up right. Unfortunately, you don't sell propane or propane accessories. Darn.
No.
Could have fooled me with your name.
Okay, how do you go this way? You just kind of sit in there like that. And then, perfect. That there. This here.
Dang it, my leg. Oh, Ivory dropping another code on the kick side. Make sure you get that quick before it all gets used up.
Okay, there's those. And then the bottom one will get the same. That'll be 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2. Down here.
Now, do you have these fans in sequential order, Zach? If you know what I mean. You want to talk a little bit about that and why you do it?
So I like plugging fans, especially these Game DS fans, in numerical order. So I start on my exhaust fan. Since this has 2 fans, I'm starting on the bottom fan. So that's fan 1, 2, then 3, 4, and 5, and then 6, 7, 8. All those are on the first hub, and then 9, 10, 11, and 12. So it completes a full circuit. It's not bouncing around. It's a full circle around. That just makes it a lot easier for if I have a fan that's spinning, not glowing, not spinning. I can easily, I don't have to trail a wire back to its origin. I know that that is fan 5, so if I go to the hub and look at fan 5 and it's not plugged in all the way, just makes it a little bit easier to help troubleshoot.
Yeah, I think it's a really smart way that you do it there. I had never even thought to do it that way when building. So, like you said, for troubleshooting, it's like, oh, this fan's out. Well, you know that's fan 6 or 5 or whatever, you know, and you just go to your hub and make sure it's all plugged in there rather than unplugging and plugging in 10 different fans or whatever to find the one you need. I think it's a really good idea.
And then we will take this up to here, these.
So in this case, with how big it is, typically when we have 2 fan controllers, we will stick them together with double-sided tape and just treat them as kind of one unit. But in this case, so you got one on the bottom, and then will this one go up top?
Yes.
Okay. Is that just because the size of this case, I'm assuming?
Yes.
The
The
fan
way
length?
I like to stick them together, and then the length of cables from them coming inside is like, you could see like this hub is max stretched
Oh, right.
from this
for that
one
fan.
cable right here. So this is as far as this cable will allow this system to go. So it's kind of stuck to be at least right there.
Yeah.
So we can make it look a little bit cleaner up inside.
Yeah, that's good. And leave some slack on the cables so they're not tight and everything. Yeah, it's nice that that cable that connects those boxes is got some length to it, so you can do that. That's cool. All right, Ashton Hank, so you typically build your own PCs, but was thinking of having a company like you build my next one. With that being said, does your warranty allow for adding parts on your own to a PC or no? Yes, yes it does. You can still upgrade your system if you want at home, and you won't void the warranty or anything
But
by
Paul,
doing that.
how long do you get to upgrade and work on your computer that you purchased from us?
Yeah, so our base warranty is 1 year on parts and labor, and then you get lifetime tech support just for ordering one from us. So you're always covered, whether you need to call us with any questions or want to upgrade later on, we're always there for you. But you can upgrade that warranty to a 2 or a 3 year when you order your PC as well. And yeah, if you're ever wanting to upgrade and you decide, hey, I just want to upgrade the video card and I think I can do it myself, but you're not sure what to buy or just what steps to take to upgrade it, in that case, you can always just get that card from anywhere and just give us a call, and our tech support can walk you through that process or even give you suggestions on what to upgrade next. And so fan cables are pretty much managed. Got that looking pretty darn good, Zach. Yeah. It's a lot of fan cables to go with. This is a kind of a unique case in that it has 12 fans, so that's all looking good. This case does have really good cable management, as you guys can see. There's kind of that middle channel there, and then in front of the power supply up top, it's kind of a nice cubby. And the reason that area is so big, with this being a high-end case, typically you're going to see high-end builds in there. And once you get into the 1300 watt and higher power supplies, they start to get pretty big. So that's why we've got all that room up there. Now this 1050 is still a very high wattage power supply, but it's in the same form factor, in the standard form factor, so it does give us more room to put our cables there, whatever we decide we need to do. Very nice. You have some add-on parts like a capture card and whatnot. Yeah, for sure. No, we always down for that. I honestly wish you could just buy the Sakura case. Yeah, it could be an option. I can't give you like a solid yes or no on that. So if you want to reach out to our support team, we might be able to get you taken care of there. Timing Planet. It is a good looking case, and we do offer the Sakura design on a few different cases, but yeah, it looks so nice on that NV5. We actually had one of our QA supervisors see the build, and he had an NV5, and so we're like, yeah, bring in your panels, we'll hook you up, and he got the print on his case, so pretty cool. Jason did that.
Nice.
It was pretty cool.
Did you do it on black one?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw those. I'm like, I don't remember a black order coming through here.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Okay, Damon's already asked. Yep.
Yep. Just saving that for last.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you getting all this stuff ran. Love that there's just this cable for the 4090.
Yes.
Makes life so much easier instead of having 4 different 6+2s going into a dongle that no one likes. Just a single cable for this big 4090. This one's coming together pretty quick, Zach. This might be the fastest NV7 we've done.
I've been working on
You've
Problem
been doing
Child
it?
NV7. I've been honing my craft.
Is that like a sticker the Sakura? No, it's not a sticker. So it is a print design that we have. So we have a very high-end printer that can print on all sorts of different stuff, and then we come up with a design, and then we have to calibrate it and get everything ready to do that. So that's what you're seeing on the giveaway build there. Now we do also offer custom paint as well. We have a Dave, he's here, he's a custom painter, used to paint big dog motorcycles here in town, and came here and now does custom paint work on computers. So if you would like a custom paint design, we do have that as well. There's a bunch of cool options. The Galaxy is probably the one that stands out the most. Each one of those is totally unique.
Oh yes.
And Dave just comes up with a whole Galaxy and paints it all on, and it looks really cool. And typically we like to, let's say you got green fans in your case, because I think that was kind of one of the more recent ones. We'll make more green elements in the Galaxy design to kind of go with your build. So it's very cool. Curious, but do you ever do builds in case you don't have in-house already? Like if I called in and wanted to build in the Montec King 95 Pro, that is something that we have done before. So yeah, if there's something you don't see on our website, but you know, like a case specific thing, definitely reach out to us. I'm sure that we can do it. All right, look at this big beast right here. So pretty much all cables are managed. So now we're gonna get to the video card. This is a triple slotter, so you can see Zach's removing those PCIe slot covers right now. And we'll drop this in there. We should hear a satisfying click when this thing goes down, and that will be the PCIe clip coming up and locking into place right here. This board does have the button on it for the quick release, which is really nice. On these high-end builds, it's really nice to have that button to release your video card should you ever need to take it out for troubleshooting or anything. The high-end boards can have like a bigger heat shield around the M.2 that you can see just up there, and so it can make it a little bit hard to get that clip down. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna line it up, and we want to hear a nice click. There it is. And now we'll put the screws back in to mount this. Now you can see this is where your video card is mounted. So it's right here at the end where your video outputs are. With this card being this big, like I mentioned before, we will be using an anti-sag device that will go in on this side of the card to give it some support over here. When cards started to get a lot bigger, we started to see GPU sag, and it would be where this end of the card would start to droop down, and that would cause either the damage to the actual PCB on the card here, or sometimes it would break the whole slot off the motherboard. We've seen that a lot. So if you have a big card, you definitely want to get something to support it on that other side to prevent headache in the future.
Let's see.
Better light bill is through the roof, I'm sure it is. Yeah, not really from the LEDs, but just from all the PCs.
There we go.
Nice. Guiding it through. Will that get there?
No. On the bottom. On the top it can.
Yeah. So with this size of the case, that's what we're kind of measuring out this cable right here. Typically we bring our cables for our video cards in from the bottom, but sometimes depending on the case and the power supply, we got to bring them in over top just due to the length of that cable.
Let's do that. That feels good right there.
I think that looks pretty good too.
Let's do it quick. Velcro, strip it in place.
Do y'all get to play on the PCs in your office? Yes, we do. So before the show, it's probably been, I don't know, it's been a minute since we played on these ones back here. But we definitely can if we want to. Back when WoW launched, I was really out there doing it, and I know you were playing. What was it?
I was playing Wildlands.
Wildlands. What was the dungeon crawler one?
One More Dungeon.
One More Dungeon. That's what it was. Yeah, I'd always.
Oh, nice.
Hey, what's going on, Derek? Hope you're enjoying your PC still. Good to see you in the chat. Hope everything's going good with you. Yeah, I did that. I did that for a little bit of intermission there, Damon. Yeah. I've got an addiction. It's okay. Oh, that's great, man. That's great to hear that you're loving them.
I like looking at them in the Discord.
Yeah, they look great. They look great. All right, so we're actually coming to about the end of the first build here. We've got our cables managed. We got another cable we're going to throw in. It's probably be just a few more minutes, and we'll throw on the side panels and boot this thing up. See how it looks. One last set of RGB cable, Zach.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the fan.
Go ahead and start getting these panels cleaned off.
And here's this.
It's all coming together. All right, so what's going in now, and I always forget about these, that this case has it. There's these light bars that will go in, and in most builds they fit. There are some giant motherboard builds like the EATX one that sometimes these lights won't go in, but they look really nice when you can get them in, and they kind of cover up the ends of the cables a little bit more than the grommets do. They look really nice when the system's on. All right, so over on Facebook, we got a question from Marcos asking, what part fixes the sag on the GPU? So that is your anti-sag bracket, which Zach is getting out right now. And what this does, if you're looking at the screen, you can see the screws right here. That's where our video card is mounted. And then there's no other support here for a card. Typically that's okay. But when you get a card this long, you need something on this side to help prevent GPU sag. And so there's a bunch of different anti-sag devices that you can use. We're going to use the one that comes in this case, and that's the one Zach's got right there. So
What is the CPU?
what is the CPU for this build? This is a Ryzen 7 7800X3D. Very nice processor. To our tech support timing planet, you should find it on our website. I'm sorry I don't have their number offhand. I'll try to be a little bit more prepared and have that. But yeah, if you just go to our website, contact us, as I'm sure where it's under, it'll be right there. You'll get a real person to talk to, and he can take care of you from there. All right. In this case, there is a specific order to put these panels back on in. So we typically are going to do our front panel first, so we can get those screws that you see Zach putting in right there. And then this panel that I've got in my hand, this glass side panel, is what's going to go over that, and it'll cover up those screws as well. Hey, well, good. We're glad you came in and asked, Marco. We're happy to ask any questions you got. Glad that'll fix your issue.
Okay, and then the back door.
You're good, St. George. You're good. All right. Wow, there we are. That was really quick, Zach, or it felt really quick. Yeah, it came together nicely. All right, so we are tightening the top panel right now, and in this case has this fancy door panel in the back. So that is going to cover up all of our video outputs. Yeah, we'll show you here. So this is another really unique thing about this case. Now, this you can obviously see through this mesh. You can see our I/O for our motherboard and video card, but this door opens up. So we never need to plug anything in, and then it also has these little fingers here, these tabs. It's got them there and down here. That way you can run your cables through this and keep them all nice and neat. And you can just shut this when you're done. Good to go. Okay, so Josh, you'd love to get a PC from us? Well, we'd love to build you one, man.
What is in here?
Case is gorgeous. It really is a gorgeous looking case. Can fit pretty much anything. So we'll go ahead and get our power cable ready here and get this thing turned on and make sure everything's working properly. Make sure no cables got loose or anything like that.
Boom, the eyes glowing.
I'll start streaming games when it's break time. Yeah, our breaks are, like Ivory said, our break is pretty short, but.
Does that have a pretty easy dust tray removal? You mean this one?
Is water wet?
It's very nice. Just slides right out the back. All that's your intake off of the floor. Super nice.
Easy peasy. Alrighty, well, I think it's time to see if this thing powers on. You can see the lights from the motherboard there. Boom. Ooh, I kind of like that. So there we go. So now we'll see everything coming on. Ooh, you see the RGB on all the components, and ooh, that white always looks good in this case. Boom, boom. Great build, Zach. This thing looks awesome.
Thank you, thank you.
Alrighty, well, this pretty much concludes the main portion of the show. We missed DJ today. We hope DJ's doing better, but we really appreciate you guys being here and everybody watching and all your questions. We're gonna do a short break real quick, and then Zach's gonna come back and build another PC. So thanks everybody for being here. Yeah.
I'll get this fast fielded and then tested.
Yeah, so after this is done, this is going to go out to our testing department, and we're going to take it out there. The testers are first going to get into the BIOS of the machine. We're going to make sure our RAM speed's set correctly, all of our storage devices show up, and then we'll actually load the operating system. And if you picked any games on our website, that's where we do that. If you didn't pick any games, you just get a fresh install of your operating system. We don't put any bloatware on the machines or anything like that. And then once everything's loaded, we actually put the system through a 12-hour burn-in or a stress test, and that makes sure that everything's in here everything that is in here is stable. Sometimes there's a component that will allow you to get video and everything looks like it's working fine, but once you start gaming, it can cause an issue. And so that's where we catch that and make sure that it's stable after that. So, cool. Alrighty, well, once again, thank you guys for being here. Make sure you stick around after the break and catch Zach build another awesome PC.
I'm excited.
See you guys.
Woo!
Bye-bye.
Bye.